Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Marielle, imperfectly back with another video. I want to say thank you for your feedback on my last video about the child abuse. If you haven't seen it, please go back and look over it. It's my experience with child abuse growing up in a Haitian household, some of the things that I went through, and looking back now how they affect me, blah blah blah. That was a very kind of dark video, and as I told you guys before, I don't want this channel to be all just one direction, just one tone. So this week we're gonna go back and talk about a topic that seemed to be somewhat popular, and that is the relationship between people that live in the States or live abroad in other countries versus the people that live in the Dominican Republic. So I was just scrolling through on YouTube, and I don't know if it's because of the video that I made or just the content that I ingest, I saw a bunch of marriage fraud videos come up, and it was mainly about a bunch of elderly women who live in like the UK going to Ghana to be with like younger African men. And that kind of sparked the thought of making this video, because I'm like, well, that's very common here too. I'm going to try to have some footage, and I hope I don't get my head chopped off for this, of the mismatch couples. We're gonna call them mismatch couples that I run into on a daily basis here in the DR. You will see a woman well in her 60s walking around with a 21, 22-year-old boy. Predominantly a white woman with a either Haitian black boy or a Dominican boy.
On their little sex holidays, aren't they?
Do you reckon that's what they're all up to?
Yeah.
Yeah?
They leave their husbands in the UK, come here and have fun with a black man,
Yeah.
and then go back to their husband in the UK, yeah.
It looks like a pretty good time. You come out here.
If you just want a good time,
Yeah.
yeah, it's paradise. You could have 2, 3 different men in a day, if that's what you want.
You will see very, very old men with really young women. Now, we talked about the prostitution thing, how a lot of times it's just a one-night stand or just a, okay, you know, you're gonna pay me for my services. But it goes even further. There are people who are in full-on relationships with these people that live in other countries. But that's not what behooves me. What behooves me is that them being in those full-on years-long relationships with those people does not stop them from having wives and husbands here back home. So I'm gonna share with you guys some examples that I know firsthand. People who I communicate with, who I hang out with, who have dealt with or are dealing with some of these situations. So first we're gonna start with the closest one to me. Very, very good friend of mine was in a relationship for upwards of 3 years with a woman. This woman has a man that lives in VA in the States. She met him online, Facebook, Tinder, whatever have you. This man started sending her money. I don't know, this girl's good. Sight unseen started sending her money. She has been getting money from this man for 8 years. Meanwhile, she was in a full-on relationship with my friend. They lived together. They were, full-on relationship. The friend knew about this guy, spoke on the phone with this guy. This guy would send him stuff, all pretending to be the girl's cousin. That is a very popular theme. This is not a warning for you men or women who are looking for relationships in smaller countries, but you should be very aware. Be very, this particular situation was a little bit more complex. The guy had never been to DR to see this girl, and it's a little bit more complicated, and I may have to do a video on that. If you know anything about my people, we believe in the voodoo and stuff, so it's a little more complicated. But so sight unseen, he's been sending this girl money years after years. It's been 8 years if I'm not mistaken, probably more now. Even sending the boyfriend money thinking that was family member. So that's one example. Second example is this guy who I really have grown to like, him and his girlfriend. They don't leave home without each other. When you see one, you see the other. He's in a very nice relationship with this Dominican lady. And not too long ago was his birthday. And so we were like, what are we doing for your birthday? Like, we're gonna hang out, whatever. He was like, I'm just gonna stop by at this spot that we hang out at. I'm just gonna stop by, I can't really stay. And we're like, what? You hang out any other day. Why wouldn't you be able to stay on your birthday night? And so anyway, we pull up, we go hang out with him. And I noticed that the girlfriend was a little sad, but I was like, what's going on? Like, this is your man's birthday. So they left rather early, like kind of were in a rush. So I was like, oh, well, she probably has plans for him. They're gonna go hang out and do their thing. So later on, I find out that his wife is in town. And so the reason why they couldn't stay is because the wife just flew in from the States. She booked the hotel room. She came to spend her man's anniversary with him. And so the girlfriend, who is very aware of this wife, is kind of sad because she's like, now I have to allow him to go in this resort for 3 days with his wife because I came into the situation finding out that he had a wife. I knew he had a wife, so I can't be jealous now. She basically had to allow her boyfriend to go spend 3 days in a resort with his wife. Now, the reason why people are like, well, why do the women decide women deal with that, or the women that are here? Because that's their bread and butter. The house that she lives in, the car that they drive in, all of that is from the wife in the States. So you think she's gonna be stupid enough and not be able to give up 3 days when her entire life of luxury is pretty much given by this woman? So she's like, I have to bite the bullet. I have to just go ahead and deal with it. There are so many examples like this. I know so many people who are in double relationships. The part that really behooves me is the part where when this wife do come, when this husband do come, your person that's here has to be like, well, okay, I know you, I mean, this is work. Mom gotta go to work, dad gotta go to work, and go bring home the bacon. I was also in a conversation with someone who said their girlfriend was pregnant and they met a woman who came from, I believe, Canada. She came in, spent a whole week. They met online, put his name on the hotel reservation. He left his pregnant wife at home, pregnant girlfriend at home, and went and spent the entire week. I mean, he would come and go. He would tell the girl, hey, I'm gonna run and go take care of something, go home real quick, drop off money that he's getting from this girl, but then would go back, ultimately spend the entire week with this woman. Like, it's a whole thing. So I am literally like baffled at some of the examples that I'm seeing, because I'm like, how could I as a woman know that my man has somebody else elsewhere? But when I'm living on a $400 salary, or me who can't work, I'm wondering now, if I find a situation like that, am I gonna oppose to it? With my values and the way I'm set up, I'm wondering now, like, well, I mean, if the guy's only coming, the woman's only coming once a year, maybe I could bite the bullet if she's gonna be sending me clothes. And can you imagine? And so a lot of times these people are either working for their green cards, they're working for, that's why it's called marriage fraud, because what would happen with the UK women, they would marry these men, they would bring them to their country, and one particular woman, the guy just disappeared. Once he touched down in the UK from Ghana, she just never saw him again. He went and forged some papers and divorced her and remarried someone else. It's all for show. Like, it's literally just as soon as they get to where they're going, they no longer need that. But while they are entertaining this person, you would think, and when you're looking at them from the outside looking in, there's another woman who, I won't go into detail, but I think she's a beautiful woman, but she's a little heavy, and you can tell the women that aren't really used, I don't know, I don't want to sound horrible because everybody deserves love. She came down here, met a younger Dominican guy, whose sexuality I question, honestly, but she is head over heels, packed up all her stuff up top where she's from, came down here, started a business with him, and her Instagram is my husband, my husband, my husband, like shrines of him. She's so in love with him. And you're just like, oh, sis, like, it's low-key sad, but at the same time, you're wondering, do you not see what's going on? You don't see what's going on, or are you just okay paying for love? You see it all the time here, all the time. So I wanted to give a little insight. I have to go meet my friend who's in the hospital. I just wanted to drop a little video this week. I hadn't, been back to see you guys since my child abuse video. I wanted to just drop a little something to shake the table and really, remove all the negative talks of child abuse. So yeah, that is my experience and what I've seen with DR and the relationship frauds that I'm seeing. Be careful if you're considering if you are in a long distance relationship with someone that lives in another country, child, be careful, because I don't know, like, you could be talking to who you think is her brother. Okay, last story. There's a couple that I know who is very much a couple. Everybody knows that they're a couple. The girl met a blanc. If you've been here before, you know what a blanc is. The blanc basically is supposed to be applying for the Biden sponsorship for said girl, but said girl is also bringing her brother along, who happens to be her boyfriend in real life. And so he's applying for her child, and her brother, not knowing that he's bringing a whole couple to America. As soon as they touch down, they're not gonna have anything to do with him. So y'all be very aware, be very careful. Again, some of that stuff is not happening by happenstance. These women and these men are using other tools. And like I said, if you Haitian, you know, they're going back to Haiti doing what they gotta do. If you know, you know. These things are very mysterious, so there's a lot of that involved. So
to gain an advantage seducing their clients, the Rastas use voodoo magic to attract white women.
We go to the witch doctor to practice voodoo so that if you come here on the beach, she's really crying. She was looking for you the whole day, so that she wants only to stay with you, so that you can make love with her, you can get a lot of money.
These beach boys headed to the witch doctor and paid about $25 to have a spell cast on them, enhancing their sexual powers. For another $25, the witch doctor took them to what he called a holy place for a special blessing.
When you are meeting women and men in another country, be very careful. Don't fall for the okie doke. They have all the sad stories in the world. Just be careful, because I haven't lived in America, know how hard it is to earn a buck. And at the same time, I'm also on this side, so I also know how hard it is when you're desperate and you need money. So I'm kind of like in the middle, but it's just a very entertaining spot to be in. So I just wanted to share my experience with that and what I've seen. And I'll try to, I don't want to take pictures of people, so I'm not even gonna say I'll try to put some pictures in, but if I happen to be able to, I will insert some pictures or some clips of these relationships that are just very not balanced. So until next time, you guys, thanks for watching. See you later.